I could go for like just a veggie burger, or like, that would be. I don't know. Do you want me to give you something to make? Do you?
Oh, I see your face.
What do you mean?
I see your face on YouTube.
Your face is on it though.
I know, which is a problem. Oh, it's because my video is off. Probably. And I think it's on a 20-second delay. Yeah, now the audio is coming out. Hold on. Oh, there we go. It worked. But of course, it's fucking branded as Zoom. That's so annoying.
Can I see it? Oh, is it on? Okay, I see.
Yeah, it's got a serious delay. So this is
That's
like
fine.
far from ideal.
But that's fine. I don't think the delay is a bad thing.
Wait, I can't hear you anymore. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Did you like mute yourself or something?
No.
Did you like mute your... I mean, I can hear you through the stream. Tell me this is gonna like fuck up my audio so I can't actually hear you.
I'm coming, boys. Don't you worry.
Oh fuck.
Oh, sick. Here we go. Un momento.
Oh. All right, I can hear you now.
Holy shit. Do I have a lot of fucking moving pieces or what right now?
Yeah. Well, I just sent you a link.
My
We're
God.
already live, so.
You hear me, gentle dudes? Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. You're...
Can I hear you now? Yeah. Microphone, speaker. Here we go. Lucas.
Yo.
Yes. Score. Oh, it's cool. It says live on YouTube.
No, that is cool.
Yeah, so I think this is like maybe far from ideal. I think it'll work for right now, but I think in the future, the issue is that you can't, as far as what I'm seeing, is you can't stream Zoom inputs to OBS on Mac in order to like make it live. I don't know why, but probably like you can do it on PC because everything I looked at, like I was about to do it and it was like, oh, you can only download this on PC. So we'll probably want to like get that set up, but on the YouTube, it says like on the stream, it says Zoom, which is just kind of lame.
On the YouTube.
Oh yeah. Sorry. I was so distracted. I was like watching the like YouTube video and it's so delayed by like
there's like 20-second delay. Yeah.
Oh, wait,
so that's the other thing. So it's the delay and the like Zoom branding is just
there
like,
always a delay?
Yeah, it said that there will be like a 20-second delay by doing it this way.
With the Zoom.
Yeah, by just doing it straight to Zoom.
Don't all streamers have a delay?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Oh, really?
No, not at all.
Oh, dude, I just had to fucking it's so difficult, like not difficult, it's so annoying switching from like my work setup to like my non-work setup, just like all like the little things, like my fucking camera, my headphones, my mic, like just plugging shit in, getting the lights on, moving shit where I gotta move. It's fucking tedious.
I can hear you, but I'm just grabbing a drink.
I'm gonna snag a brewskis too, so I don't have to get back up. I gotta shut some doors. I'll BRB.
Damn it. Hello, YouTube.
All right, we back. We
Yep.
back. You thought I was going to get a beer, but I just really just swore all the bad things. I had to get it out of my system real quick. Now that we're live.
Smart. Just in the mirror.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Let me make this bigger. Nice. Dude, I just got a new keyboard. It's sick. I'm hyped about it.
You use like a mechanical keyboard or what?
Yeah, I had one, but it's like a small one. It's like a 60% keyboard. So it's missing basically everything to the right of like your enter key. So
mine has the same functionality. It's just
yeah. I feel like Macs are actually like laptop keyboards like aren't big at all,
Yeah.
But
Yours
like
smaller though.
the one I had before this, it was fucking massive, dude. It had like this whole keyboard, then it had like a row for fucking like the arrow keys plus like those 6 like print, delete, like whatever.
Yeah.
And then it had the number pad on the right of it, dude. I'm like, this thing's fucking massive, dude.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? But yeah, I was hyped about it. And like it's cool. Got like little lights in it and shit. This one's fucking nice.
Oh, do they like go around while you type and stuff?
There's like
that?
there's like different settings you could do. You're not gonna be able to see it, I don't think. But like, oh yeah.
A little bit.
So, like as you type,
That's
bro,
cool.
they're like
That's
all
sick.
different. Yeah. So like even if you hit the same one multiple times, bro, So like as you just go and ham with it, it's dope. And then like there's a bunch of other ones you could do.
I have way too much fun with that.
Dude, I'm purposely looking while I text. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, this looks cool, Oh God.
Oh, you know what's dope is I heard you say something about the keys, and I was like, oh, I missed it. And then I come and the stream is 20 seconds delayed, so I still
just
have
pop
to
it
see it.
Yeah, dude. No, I was talking about this new keyboard I bought. It's pretty dope. It's pretty cool, bro.
Pretty cool. Dope. Fuck, it's getting fucking cold. I gotta close these shits up.
I'm looking back at myself now. It is not good quality. Is it me or is it like?
It's very like jumpy.
Well, I'm not I mean, I'm on my Wi-Fi is pretty good, but I'm not connected to Ethernet, so it might have an effect on it.
Oh, here we go. So how's everyone doing?
Holy shit. Wow. Fucking bright this thing can be.
So how are we kicking this off? What's the
Well, I could fucking kick this thing off. I've got the idea in head. That was good. I'm really off to a good start already. It's funny that this is live now.
Dude,
What's
you
up?
look greasy right now.
I'm so greasy right now. I need to shower. I know the light doesn't help either. It like makes it shiny. But yeah, a little greasy.
I understand why like actors and actresses get like powdered and stuff. You know what I mean? Like before they act, I'm like, I feel like the vast majority would look like us. You know what I mean? Like, do you see this right now? I literally have a shine on my head. This is across from.
It's like, dude, it's like
like Joey's gonna have a makeup set next to his desk.
Yeah, right. I'm lowering
the eyes of the Mona Lisa, like it follows you. Like there's no.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, dude, I mean,
dude actually stabbed his forehead.
Oh, I did that too. Watching
You
it
just
all red and
wiped it off.
shit. No, I lowered the light like one notch. What is going on with this camera right now? I think I'm just moving too much around.
Yeah, I think you're moving a little too much. Do you have the same one that I do?
I don't know.
Dude, for some reason, this webcam, when I first got it, I couldn't get it to focus for forever. Like it just took forever, and now I haven't had any problems with it.
I feel like it's getting literally worse.
Joey.
It's gonna work. Just
Wow.
let me be like this. I'm like an informant in like a documentary. You know what I mean?
That's what you think the informant sounds like?
Nah, you know they like muffle their voice.
No, but you went with the Peanuts parents, Charlie Brown's parents.
Oh, dude.
Womp, womp,
Womp, womp. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. It's still not 100%, but I'm just gonna live with it.
Shane, kick us off.
Sick. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know if you guys actually did what we said we were gonna do, which is like kind of think about what your goals were for the year. If you didn't, you're just an asshole, Lucas.
I mean, that's why?
I'm just kidding. No, you looked at me like you didn't. But
I
yeah.
didn't,
So
but
I mean, basically, rather than just like getting on here and shooting the shit about everything going on, which we're still going to continue to do, but for now we're going to kind of like hold each other to like, I guess you could say like a higher standard of like, instead of just letting each other like be complete bums and not really do anything, trying to like keep each other accountable to actually doing some of the things that we want to do, whether that's just like working out or, you know, going for a fucking walk every day or something, whatever it is, but like doing something that you want to do and not just like kind of going through life doing fucking nothing, which is just like super easy to fall into. And so basically what we did to kind of kick things off is come up with some like goals for 2021, things that we'd like to do. And these things will probably change a lot, but I feel like on a weekly basis, we could check in, be like, what are you doing? What haven't you done? How are you feeling? And just like to talk about what we're going through. And the reason why we're making this public is mostly for accountability, just that we actually meet and talk every week. And it forces us to kind of get on here. But at the same time, in addition to that, feels like there's probably, I mean, obviously we're in the same position. I feel like there's a lot of people that are trying to navigate like, what the hell am I doing with my life? How am I structuring my day? I want to accomplish shit and I'm not, you know, and I feel like I'm constantly like looking at other people for like how they do things. Cause I'm like trying to get some hints as like, oh, maybe I should do this in the morning instead of that, or maybe I should start my day this way instead of that way. And so I feel like as we talk about stuff here, there may be some amount of value for someone listening in that just wants to kind of, also we're streaming this, so people could just chime in and talk, you know, we could like live chat here, but at the same time, just give people a chance to kind of follow along and see what we're doing and maybe get inspired to do something. But again, most of it's for us for accountability. So this isn't going to be something where we're doing it mostly for other people. But so with that, there's gonna be a lot of banter and just like nonsense along the way as well. But yeah, so that's basically how things are gonna go.
Shut down the outside world just yet. Maybe it'll, you know, there's room for change and adaptation. Maybe it'll get to a point where we're doing this with others.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, look, I mean, if you want to fucking comment and talk about what you're doing, ask questions. I mean, we don't know anything, if everything.
I was literally
so
going to say.
Yeah, so we're just trying to figure things out, you know, and I feel like it's valuable to just talk to this, and it would be cool to have the documentation, and I feel like some people will find it valuable. So regardless, long story short, we kind of talked about setting at least a couple of like goals for 2021. I thought this through kind of towards the end of last year and spent like a good amount of time thinking about this because it's the first year in a while. First year in the last couple of years where like I didn't know what the hell I wanted, essentially. Are we not allowed to is someone watching? Oh, my dad's watching.
Is he?
Yeah. He said, try to curb the F word. Sorry, Dad.
Love it.
That's hilarious.
Text you?
Wait,
I thought that you
put in the chat.
No, he texted me. I thought that one of you texted me. I was like, what? I was like, what? Okay. Sorry,
That's
Dad.
so funny.
Tone down the language, but that's just that's just how it is. But that's hilarious. But yeah, so one of the first time, like years in a while, where I didn't know. Like it was kind of like the last couple of years. It was like, oh, like I'm doing this freelance thing, and now I'm working for myself, and I want to make that a thing, you know, and make myself actually make a living, essentially, not just be like kind of getting by. But so now that things are going well in that world, I'm like, do I really want to like double down on this and keep going, or do I want to just like go a different route? Because at the end of the day, like I could double down on freelancing and just make more money. And I'm like, but I'll just be doing more client work. And it's just like feels like I'm like making more of a job for myself. But so I was thinking about all this like a lot and trying to like think about what the hell I wanted to do. But so I like had around like business goals, I guess, like just to start off, like I guess before even getting into all this, because I don't want to just go ramble on for a while, but like I kind of broke things down into like business goals and then like personal goals. Business goals is kind of like career goals, professional goals. And then I have business, personal, health, and relationships, which just like one for kind of each of those, but just so like a little categorically. I don't know. How did you guys like think about that? Or do you just have one? Did you have like two? Do you think about this at all? I don't know. Before we get into it, you know, just like,
Yeah, I definitely didn't go as super deep as you did, honestly. To be completely honest, you know what happened? The truth is I forgot we were even had like something to talk about. You know what I mean? Like we didn't do it last week, and 2 weeks went by. I was just like, oh yeah, we're just doing the thing. I don't know. But I know what I have. Yeah, I mean, like I don't have them like written down on a piece of paper, but like I know what I want to like basically accomplish throughout this year on like different scales like that. Like I know what I want to do for work, and then I know what I want to do like on the side and shit, which is actually interesting because I feel like everything. Well, I don't like. We'll get into it, you know, but I feel like my new work goals are like severely fucking up what I wanted for like my other goals. Like now that I'm like, oh wait, like 8 hours, like 8 to 9 ish hours, like a day is like a lot of time to be taken up now. You know what I mean? Like, and then on top of it, it's like I don't want to say like unintentionally started lifting again because like it was definitely very intentional. You know what I mean? But I wasn't like, oh, this New Year's, like I want to just fucking, you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna be at the gym. Like I was just like talking with my friends and I was just like, he's like, I go every day. I'm like, all right, cool, I'm going with you. You know what I mean? Kind of like this shit. You know what I mean? I was just like, all right, where doggy, like me and you were going, and like it's gonna be a thing. And then our friend Steven came too. So now there's like 3 people, and it's just like every morning at 5:45, one of us texts like something goofy, you know what I mean? But like whatever. But like you never want to be the person not responding.
Yeah.
Even though it blows lifting early in the morning, like I'm starting to feel
oh, it does
too. But like that, like it's crazy to think that like if I was like to rank, like I guess like my order of like which I would want to do more, maybe is like the gym like wasn't on like a high priority. I think it's just something that kind of like maybe in like the back of my mind, like I wanted, like I knew I want to get in like a little bit more into it. I started snoring recently, Lucas. I think I was telling you this, that I think I'm getting fat. I'm snoring now. Like, this has never happened to me in my life. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I'm getting like sleep apnea or something. I'm like, holy shit. I mean, I still weigh like 180 pounds, but like I'm a little like softer on the sides. I'm like, oh my God, it's like double chin choking me out in the middle.
Yeah.
So there's probably some subconscious thing like, Joey, you fat ass, get to the gym. But like I said, it wasn't like high on my things to do. But like now I find myself with like work, which I'm still like calibrating, like how much of like time is needed to like excel at the job, you know? Like it's only day 2 of like being live, like out of training and shit like that. So, but like right now it's like if we go to the gym 2 days, then off 1, then 2 days, like it's typically going to be like 4 days a week, mostly like work week wise. And so like if we go from 6 till 7:30, then I basically have like a half hour to like shower and like eat breakfast and shit, like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I like start working. You know what I mean? So like I wanted to do like a Q video, and like I'm not making excuses, but I'm just like, you know what I
mean? What's your priority? Essentially, like what's the priority at the end of the day?
Well, that's the thing. Now I don't want to be like I'm sure I can make time. You know what I mean? Like that's like the thing also. It's like I'm not maximizing the off time I do have, but it's like now that I'm lifting, I don't want to be like, oh, I want to stop lifting so I can like make videos in the morning. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
in 2 weeks, I'm over the initial sore. Like, I don't want to feel that shit again. You know? That's always like the major deterrent. I feel like a weekend, I'm like, I can't even walk or lift my arm. Like, I don't want to do this shit. But yeah, I don't know. So I think I just have to prioritize. I don't know. I gotta figure out. Like, I feel like in like a couple days, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, I'll have like a good idea of like my time for work, like work, like fucking. And
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like we're working a lot. And you know what's funny is I feel like I'm working a lot and I'm working just like a real full-time schedule right now. And I feel like Lucas is working the most out of all of us, like working more than full-time. And I'm like, I feel like I'm working a lot. I'm like, I can't even imagine doing more right now.
I'm just also like just Joey, what you were saying about like the putting out the Q videos, and like that's where I was like 3 months ago when I was like switching jobs and moving cities and stuff, and unable to like join our calls on Wednesdays because I didn't read, and I'm like I feel like such an ass for not doing these things, but then it's like, well, first of all, this is like a high priority for me, like at least to be able to like hop on calls and like be able to make sure that the three of us are staying to like caught up with each other. But it was very similar in the sense of like, all right, these very like real life things are happening right now that are unavoidable. Like it's just sometimes like real life hits you like a ton of like a bag of bricks.
Yeah,
Like,
life takes priority over everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're like, all right, I want to upload these YouTube videos, and you're like, oh shit, wait a second, like there are these things that actually take up 10 hours of my day.
Yeah.
But I can't, it's unavoidable.
Yeah, I even like, and that's one of the things I've been thinking about too, is like with spending time and like doubling down on one thing or doing other. Because I'm like, oh yeah, I'd love to like, like do certain things before work, and like I still want to like strive to like do that. But at the same time, like if my entire workday is like work, and then like the hours to like try to like start work on something new or like start something new are just like so slim, and it's like you have to like pick a thing almost, because it's like you don't have like, after you have workout, like exercise, work, eating, whatever, dinner, like, and then hanging out, like time with your girlfriend, it's like, okay, you have like not that much time, so you kind of have to like pick a thing for that to be, and then it's still like hard to get yourself to do it, but then you have to, anything else that you might want to do has to be like pushed aside, which also is like makes it even harder.
When you're working a full-time job, you have 5 time slots a week to do something that isn't work and like your normal day-to-day routine.
Well, 10.
Yeah.
One before, one after.
Yeah, fair, true. And that for me, the way I used to look at it when I was like living in Boston is, what I do is in the mornings I do everything for me, and then the afternoons I do stuff like socially and like with my roommates. But now, I mean, and for you two, it's different since you're both like living with significant others, so that ends up adding like a whole piece, to the puzzle. But
and I feel like I've been operating on like the
lower
as much time.
Spectrum.
I mean, if sometimes it's like, dude, like I don't know, like I wish I didn't fucking like have other shit to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
we do.
Yeah. But you do.
No,
what's interesting? I wonder if it would be helpful. And then I'm gonna parlay this, Shane, into like a tiny fucking app for you. But like, I wonder if it would be helpful. I was just talking to Jules about this at dinner, to like literally log like every hour, like set an alarm and just like whatever I'm doing, stop it, and then write like what I did since the last alarm, like that, like on paper. You know what I mean? Like, and like try to break it down that way. Because like even like these last 2 days at work, I've been fucking like, it's so much prospecting and so much. And I catch myself and like there's still like these like little meetings like here and there, like maybe like 2 hours, like an hour to 2 hours a day. But it's just like, I look back and I'm like, how the fuck did I send 10 emails today in like 8 hours? You know what I mean? I'm like, what the fuck is that? You know what I mean? I was like, 5x that number. I feel like I was like, I'm like, oh, I was prospecting, but it's like, I feel like just being able to like look back and like, was I really, you know what I mean? Like, was I really being, like effective with my time? Like, I feel like I'm going to do that because I feel like that
honestly, the idea of seeing where my time is spent scares the life out of me. And that's why I feel like I should do that.
Right. They do it on your phone. You know what I mean? Like your screen time, but like something like, it'd be cool. This is what I was getting at, Shane, is like a little, like, I don't know, like extension or something like that, like a Chrome extension. And like, you could just like hit like a short key, bro. And it just starts a timer, you know what I mean? And then like at an hour, it'll like buzz or something like that. And then you could either like, you could manually write like what you did. You're like, all right, for this hour, I prospected, I sent 2 emails, like blah, 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 blah. Or it could be like a fucking like a phone, like the metrics they give you. Like if I had one monitor, if it could just capture everything the computer's doing, it'll be like, all right, in this hour, you were like on Twitch for 10 minutes. You were, I mean, like on LinkedIn for 20 minutes.
But then also if you could see, working versus non-working time, I bet you so few people have an hour where it's an hour of working time.
Never.
Like, oh yeah, like dude, dude. So there's this app called that I've been using because I've been because for some of my clients I'm actually like doing hourly, but like I'm using this app called Toggle, which is like it's a time tracking app, but essentially it allows you to like start a timer and then you essentially like you say what task you're working on. So it doesn't like ping you, it doesn't tell you how long you've been working on something. Like it's not like hour increments or anything, but it's like you start the timer and then you write in the task like what you're working on, and then you get assigned like a project. So like I do that for the different projects that I'm working on. But what it shows is sometimes it'll be like when you leave your mouse idle, like when you're not using your mouse, it'll like track that and it'll give you a little pop-up that said like after like 6 minutes or something like that, it'll be like once you move your mouse again, it'll say like 6 minutes of idle time. Do you want to like keep that or do you want to discard that? You know what I mean? Like, do you want to remove that block? No. And I'm like,
billable hours. Discard.
No. Keep means leave it and pretend it never happened. Discard means get rid of it and then like acknowledge that it happened. And I'm always like keep. Yeah. But sometimes, dude, I mean, sometimes I go and I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna like walk into the other room and like get a coffee and then like I say hi to M and we just like chat for a second and all of a sudden and then I go to the bathroom and I'm like come back and it's like idle 15 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck? Dude. Like how the hell was like I wasn't even intentionally taking a break. This was like which is another thing about like it's an accidental break. Like if I'm gonna take 15 minutes off of like working, I want to just like actually take 15 minutes, not like
if you had to say like boss I'm taking 15, it'd be like a lot different than just like if you're like if you got one fucking break a day and it was 15 minutes.
I am chilling in that 15 minutes. Like,
I'm just sitting there, eyes closed. Nobody talk to me.
But to that same point though, there's actually there's this book called The Effective Executive by Peter Drucker. I didn't actually read it because it's like kind of boring, but in one of the first chapters talks about this is like he's like the original executive coach, essentially, like management consultant, like the most famous one. And he says that like the first thing he does with CEOs and executives is like log their time. He's like, you're going to track your time by the hour because you say that you like, he asks them to write down what they think they spend their time on. Like, 3 hours in one-on-ones with my vice presidents, you know what I mean? And then 4 hours like planning the next whatever, like how do you think you actually spend your time? And then he's like, and then track your time. And like the comparison is never even close. Like everyone is so off.
I believe
that
it.
Just the exercise of like doing it for a week or two, you're like, you realize how much time you're wasting, essentially. And dude, if I look at my phone, just look at screen time and look at how much time I spent on TikTok last week, like it makes me want to throw up. I'm like, why
do we all just look at our screen times and feel like these are shits?
No, not right now. I'm just like, it's going to make me feel like all this bitching and moaning about not having enough time is just like, I don't know, just completely worthless. But yeah, it's, no, it's like tracking your time is definitely like it's annoying. Like I don't enjoy doing it at all, but it's definitely super helpful to be able to be like, oh, that's where I, actually did that. And I resisted time tracking for a while because I had to do it at TriFin and I hated it because it was like, I felt like they were watching me essentially.
Yeah. It's like a personal thing, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but this personal way, like I wouldn't do this personal thing because I was so like traumatized by tracking my time. I just hated it so much. But now like I started doing it again for some projects, as well as I just track like all of my project work now, like all the client work that I do. And sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I set aside 4 hours this morning to like work on this project and all. I look and I'm like, oh, well, I only actually tracked 2 hours because something came up and I had to help someone else. And it's like, I don't know.
So I'm definitely going to start doing that though. That's what I got from this. I'm 100% going to give it the old whirl.
Download Toggle. It's TOGGL.
I feel like, does it set like, I think I need something like right now. maybe I'll just like set an alarm and like write
And
it
every hour, yeah.
or,
Just,
or like on a Google Doc or something like that.
Yeah.
and
I want
for
to be able to like, I feel like I want to be able to write something down. I want to be able to
Mhm.
like not reflect on it, but like just, yeah, reflect on it for like a second. And if I'm
I-
like, why the fuck I'm like not doing well, or like why I'm not like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like being as productive. I should look back. I'm like, all right, well, I didn't do fucking shit the last 2 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
and I think it'll be interesting. I think for you, it's easier to do a list than it would be for Shane because he's juggling, 4 or 5 projects in the sense of like working with external people. But for you, Joey, I feel like just every hour you have your alarm go off, and you just have pen to paper and be like 5 prospecting emails,
Yeah.
1 meeting. That's it. Like it can be like literally 7 words that you just have to put on a piece of paper, and then you
Mhm.
go into your next hour. And it'll be interesting to see at the end of the
Yeah.
day, like after like 3 weeks, you'll be like, wow, I actually spend most of my time, like most of my morning hours being way more productive than my afternoon hours. And I bet you learn a lot, like how you can end up being more productive, like overall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder, it's like maybe I'll mess around with what's it called? The take the break every 45 Pomodoro technique. You
Mhm.
know, maybe that'll be my every hour 5-minute break. Every hour 5-minute break. You know, we'll test that out.
Yeah. I don't know. That like whenever like for me, the hardest thing is like starting anything. Like I've realized for myself, just like getting myself to sit down and actually like do anything is really hard. But once I actually do something for like 10, 15 minutes, like I can just like continue doing it as long as I can like keep my focus. But getting myself like the littlest thing, like Lucas, you were talking about this one thing that you've had to do for like way too long, like just haven't done it. Like getting myself to actually like start typing that email is like kind of all I need to get myself to actually finish it. But so that's why I like the Pomodoro for myself, like with my attention span, just like it always like I'm like, oh, 45 minutes, but I'm like, I feel like that just like interrupts my flow. Like if
You're
I'm
gonna
into it,
kickstart it
I
again.
just want to like keep going for 4 hours and then not, and then take a break. But yeah, definitely I feel like everybody just is kind of different in that way.
No, I agree with like that, the kickstarting thing though. Like the hardest part is like doing it. Like another thing I wanted to work on, and like there was no like, I don't know, like no goal how to get better. It's just like something I was just going to talk to you guys about. But like, I feel like something I do a lot is like neglect little things that take like
Well, that's exactly what
minutes.
that's
I
exactly
mean?
what Shane was saying. Yeah.
Like not big projects or anything like that. Like
Uh-huh.
the first thing that comes to my mind and the worst offender I'm at is like these. I have like probably like 4 newsletters that like come to me like daily, and like I've been so, I don't know if I just like slowly lost interest or like I'm just getting lazy. I'm just like, oh yeah, it's fine. Like I'll read them all tomorrow. And then like eventually I'm like sitting down, like scrolling through fucking like 5 days of newsletters. I'm like, there's half the
Yeah.
shit. It's like now no news, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter at that point. But I'm like, for something that takes less than, I don't know, like I want like 5 minutes. I just want to do it and not like push it off. You know what I mean? I don't know if like either you do that shit or if you just are normal.
Oh, all the
I like,
time.
No. I like I feel like that happens to everyone, and it's the type of thing that it builds up to such a bigger task if you ignore it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Although
And
I think that one thing, like,
the most frustrating thing about it is you know it's easy, and the
Yeah.
fact that it's easy makes it hard for some weird reason.
Yeah, it's so easy. I'll fucking do it, dude. You know what I mean? I'll get to it. It's no big deal. It's a breeze.
And then it's like, oh wait, I'll do it tomorrow since it's so easy, and
Yeah.
then it's just, that becomes the habit. Is the
Tomorrow's the cursed word, dude. That's what me and Jules say. Yeah, tomorrow's the fucking.
I like that. That's
the most. It's the most dangerous one. And you know what's mad funny? I feel like when I was living in Florida, like maybe like freshman, sophomore year, or maybe after. I don't know. I literally don't know when in this span. But at some point, I was in either like an Uber or a taxi, and the dude was like, "Yeah, mañana." He's like, "That's the saying down here." You know what I mean? Like if you don't get to it today, there's always tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, yeah, like, sure. Now I'm looking back at it, I'm like, that's a horrible attitude.
yeah.
That's
why
why
nothing
it's not
gets
my
done
place.
down there, you know?
Yeah.
That's funny.
But yeah, shit like that, I gotta start getting better at. I don't know. It's just discipline. It's really what it is. It boils down to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one thing also that I like, Joey, me and you forget when I was like talking to you about, I was thinking about when the hell did we talk about this? Just like talked one day about trying to think about like work side things and like personal side things, like outside of work hours, like side projects and stuff like that, like having not turning them into work. Like basically what we like when I talked to you, you're like, yeah, basically I'm very good at just taking anything that's like somewhat like reading or right, or like building an app or design and stuff like that, and just like turning all of my like little ideas for like side projects and things to do in the morning or after work and turning them into work, like trying to shifting them into like, oh well, like if I did it this way then it's like can benefit work in this other way, and like all of a sudden like my like one of the things one of my
It's
goals,
even just a mentality thing. I think that's all it is.
yeah. Well, one of my goals was to one goal I had, like personally, this is what I came to afterwards, but I thought about this before, but was to build 10 like little apps, like little, and maybe we talked about this, but basically my head initially went from like, instead of just building apps, I'm like, oh, but what if I like built them like, what if I just like built them on Shopify, and then I could build like little Shopify apps, and then when I'm building little Shopify apps, like I can like that translates well to work. And it was like, and Joey brought up that like the reason why you get burnt out doing stuff like this is because you're essentially, by doing that, you're essentially just working for an extra hour and a half a day. Like by turning any little fun side project thing into work related stuff, you're just adding an extra hour to 2 hours or even more onto your work day. So it's not like its own thing. You just end up getting burnt out on work a lot faster. And that was
Fucking
like
wise sometimes beyond my
yeah,
ears.
I mean, but so that's where my like thing that I want to like work on outside of like work is, like I said, building 10 little apps, which are just like very small web apps where people could sign in and do something. So like one example, like Joey talked about, would be like what Joey just said, is like a little app that sends you like text messages or a little bit like they cost more money. So those are the types of things where I'm like, I might have to like be aware of that. But a web app that I could make would be like, you sign up and you create an account and you enter your phone number and you like sign up to get a text every hour for between a certain period of time. Like you set your interval from 9 to 5 and you get a text every hour, and it's like, hey, what did you work on this hour? And then you text it back and it records that in a spreadsheet for you. And like that would be a little app, is like, hey, someone can make an account, they could like input their stuff, and like there's something that goes on, but it's like the output is just like, here's your hours essentially, and then for the day, and then here's your thing. And like, that's what the app is. But so building like 10 small things like that by the time I'm actually know what I'm doing and I'm actually like good at it, I could spin something up like that in like a day's time. But for now, in the beginning, it'll be like pretty slow. So that's why instead of being like, oh, build 100 of these, like that's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like maybe 10, you know what I mean? 10 would be awesome.
Have you settled on number one?
Yeah, well, so number one, just, and again, just to make this
We know they're going to be
work-related,
simple.
was number one was to just, which I'm actually starting to like have been thinking about just like dropping that idea. But number one was going to be like, most of the early tutorials or like walkthroughs and guides are around building, like the simplest app is a blog. Essentially it's like it is an app, even though it's just like serving like website content or whatever, because you have a database, you could store stuff in there and people could make an account to view stuff and put it behind a paywall, whatever it is. But like building an app, building my personal site as a web app was one of them that I want to do. And I'm just kind of like going through one of these like tutorials to refresh my mind on like how everything works. And like the thing that you do is just set up a blog. But I haven't been enjoying that very much because like, again, it's probably just because it's like work related. And I'm like, I don't feel like doing that. So I think I'm going to go to the next one, which was my idea to like create like a mood tracker, essentially, where like all you would do is at the end of the day, you would rate the day and then you would input like a brief description of like what you did that day. And I was thinking about doing this, like, you could get more granular than that, like multiple times a day or whatever, but just like rate the day from 1 to 10 of like how you felt. And, you know, did you really love it? Did you have a shitty day? And then a little description about what you did. And then it would allow you to like sort, it would allow you to sort by mood, like by levels. So you could like then like filter essentially and say it would basically be like a spreadsheet, but
Look
like
at all my
with a
10
good UI.
and then or whatever.
Yeah. What was I doing on days that were a 10? And like, okay, I had a bunch of days that were like a 2. What was I doing on those days? And then even like on a month to month basis, like, okay, well, like I could see most of my, like, I average a 9 on Thursdays and my Tuesdays are like a 4. Like what, you know what I mean? Just to like track that. Cause I think it would be interesting to be able to see like over time, like, because I don't know, dude, some days I feel great and some days I just feel like shit, you know, for no reason. It's not like I did anything. It's not like I was out boozing all night or anything. Like some days I just feel like crap, you know, and I feel like it's a result of like having done something maybe the day before, or
like emotionally or like physically.
Well, no, not like physically, but just like like have no like motivation, you know, feeling like maybe a little extra like anxious or like moody, but just like having like just feeling crappy, you know. And there's not usually, or like I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm not getting anything done today. Like I really don't want to work. I'm like, okay, well, like what am I working on? You know what I mean? Like I feel like I feel that in the moment. I'm like, I really don't want to work today. And like if I had written down like what I was working on that day and like how I felt, like mood, like how productive I was essentially, as a part of that, then like I could see like, oh, I usually feel like crap or don't enjoy things when I'm doing this sort of a thing. Like working with this client ruins my day. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, I should not work with that client. But that was just like one idea for like the same idea, like very small. You could create an account and set stuff up. And then that's going to be something that just like happens. You know, work on that like whenever I'm just feel like doing something that's not work or just hanging out or chilling. But yeah, that's one of them for me. Well, that's the personal goal, like, because thinking of like outside of work stuff.
So you could basically just have to average one every like
5 weeks.
month and 5 weeks.
Yeah. So one every like little bit over a month. But
One
so
we're done with January.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, so I have to
You're one down.
Yeah, I know. But another thing, going back to, I don't know, something that we mentioned before was like the idea of like spending time with like your girlfriend, just say like spending more time with your girlfriend, but also wanting to spend more time doing cool stuff and like not wanting to like, me and Emily last night, we just like sat and like talked and like we were watching TV and I was just like, let's just turn this off for a second. And we just like sat, like we turned the TV off and we just sat and we talked for like an hour and a half and just like chilled and just talked, no TV, whatever. And it was like, it felt so good to just be like not watching TV or watching TikTok or on my phone or whatever, you know what I mean? Because I feel like me and Emily have gotten into like sort of bad habit of just like, okay, worked all day, like worked out in the morning. Now the day's over and let's eat dinner. And all of a sudden it's 7 and then let's watch like 2 hours of TV and then it's 9. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to start getting ready for bed. And then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I worked and then I watched 2 hours of TV and then I went to bed. And I'm like, is that what I want my life? Like that's just like that very, like, it's been like
that could turn into
the last like
everything.
Well, dude, it was like that for like the last couple weeks. And I'm like, this is not this is not who we are. This is not who I want to be. Like, I don't want to be someone who like the day ends and I just sit and watch TV for a few hours. And I feel like video games is very easily like my vice is video games, whereas Emily's is usually TV. But like at the same time, like either way, I'm just like, there's so many things that I'd like to do that are like interesting or creative or fun, that don't involve sitting in front, like just consuming endlessly. And so what me and Emily talked about is turning this like office space into more of like a creative space where like we could have essentially have like a music going in here, have like a bench, which we tried to get a workbench before, but like have like
The
a bench
flappy
with like a bunch
one
of
that
like
never worked out.
yeah, that never worked out. I'll explain that, but we want to have like, like cameras and like photography equipment, and like have my computer, have like laptop, be able to like just do like work on, like come in here and be like, what is like the fun, interesting project that's going to happen? Maybe like drink, play some music, take some pictures, just like play. Like one thing we came to last night is like just adult version of playtime. You know what I mean? Like a playroom for adults. Like why? Like, I don't know. I feel like it doesn't have to be, I feel like I always say like work on something, but really just like play with something, like with a camera, like taking pictures, or like using like a cool design tool, or like drawing something on the iPad, or like sketching something. I don't know, but just like doing stuff. It's like we can't go out and about right now when it's like 20 degrees, but like I feel like having that, whatever that is, be the like end of the day, kind of just like go and just play and do stuff, whatever, like for fun, is like what will be like a much richer, more rewarding life than like, okay, I worked and like just watch TV. And like, I don't know, I don't want to say like there's anything necessarily wrong with that, but I feel like I know for myself that even though I could say like, oh, it's nice to like relax and just like wind down at the end of the day, it's like, it's not really that relaxing to like just sit and watch TV, and like it doesn't feel good. Like you look back a week later or 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later and you're like, did I really like, am I happy that I sat and just like watched TV when I could have just been doing literally anything else with my life? For me, whenever I ask myself that, I'm like, no, I feel like shit.
I agree. It's like not a good feeling, but I disagree. I think it's very relaxing. I could sit down and watch TV
I agree.
for hours on them. I'm a consumer. My eyes are fucking beaming into me,
Yeah, well, all right. So maybe it is relaxing,
but I think we can all agree it's not a good thing. It's not a good.
But what do you need to really like? I guess like the question is like, do you really need to like, or you work full day? Like, you really need to like wind down, like, and this is for me, I'm not saying to you, I'm just saying like I'm not talking about you specifically, but I'm like, do you need to like, do you really need to, you general person, need to like sit down and relax and watch TV, or like sit on your phone for 2 hours at the end of the day to just like wind down?
Like, I feel like I do. I don't know, I feel like I can't always be doing stuff.
I feel like it's also not winding down. Like if you don't go on your phone throughout the day, you're like,
there's like finding a balance
in the world.
You know what I mean? you can have like the playtime thing for like 2 weeks, but maybe one day you guys just want to watch a TV show.
No, yeah, I'm not saying that it should never be a thing. I just feel like more, at least as much, should be like enjoying, like, because what the fuck is life if you just work and then you sit and you like sit on your phone or whatever? You know what I mean? Like what, like if there, and you only have the weekend to kind of just like do the things that you want to do, which mostly ends up running errands, like if we're honest, like Sunday just becomes like running errands and like not really doing much. So it's like,
but you have to realize that like you're like putting your idea of like what your life should be on like other people. Like,
no, of course,
we're like-minded enough to like agree with what you're saying. But like, I know a kid who like, whatever, from back home. And like this dude fucking works like a regular job, like at a deli. He's just fucking makes his sandwiches, goes home like to smoke some pot and like play video games. And like he is like fulfilled with, you know what I mean? Like to somebody, you could be like, dude, like a judgmental person would be like, yeah, like what the fuck, you bum. You know what I mean? But like guarantee you that kid's happier than like the judgmental person. He's like, bro, I'm sad. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like people are on like a spectrum where like there's probably a lot of people that are very content with like working their day job, going home, watching TV, like rinse and repeat. You know what I mean? I'm not saying any of us are, but I'm just saying that like not everybody.
Yeah, I think I'd argue that not many people are. I'd argue that people are like okay with it rather than like
watching
okay. TV. Like there's a difference between being content and like happy and like just acceptance. Like I feel like there's like
some people don't necessarily have the drive as much to create, and some people like to consume content. Like some people like to read books and watch TV and like be on TikTok or whatever it is. And I feel like maybe for you put a lot of weight in like, and we all do, into like like creating or doing something, but I feel like watching TV or like having something like that is a freedom that you have to be able to afford to do. And like, you know, some people work a day job just so they can go home and not have to think about work. And like that's
Yeah.
what work buys for them.
Yeah, I mean that's totally fair. It's like I don't know. It just feels kind of like I think that there's like other probably way more enjoyable things to do than like sit in front of a TV for like 2 hours. And maybe some people just really love it. But I feel like I don't know. I feel like that's one of those things that people like look back on and say like, "Oh, I wish I fucking hung out with friends more." Like it doesn't have to be like a productive thing, but just like actually doing something or just like experiencing something that's not just like consuming content like 24/7. And there's nothing wrong. Like I obviously do, you know what I mean? Like I feel like playing video games. Like I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with it, but it's just like it's very easy for that to become your life, and then also to then justify that that is your life and say like, I don't know, oh, well, this is my life, and it's kind of like there's a little bit like it's easier to just say like I don't know what was the Taleb line like the great like the thing you can't reach is like sour or whatever.
I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like
When you finally
the
reached it.
grapes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know, and I know like I know I'm projecting a lot of like what I've been thinking about, but it just feels like this is what I've been processing. Like okay, like I just like sit and like do nothing. Like, do I really want to do like sitting here? Do I really want to sit here and just like watch TV for 2 hours? And like that answer to that question is usually no, but then I end up doing it anyway. And it's like, and then I look back, I'm like, okay, I'd rather do literally anything else. But I'm still doing it. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like that's just
Isn't it crazy?
Like,
It's like you're on like autopilot. It's like I don't want to do this, but it's enticing right now.
well, like, but it's just like, hey, I mean, like, fuck, and then all like, I don't know, like, time passes by a lot quicker because you're just like, it's entertaining.
Well, you know what it is? It's going back to that like just adherence, like starting. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure if you were like, do I want to be doing this right now? No, I'd rather be doing this. Like if you just took the first step into starting that process, you would just, you're not like, I mean, if you were like, yo, I want to like start working on this Tiny app and you pulled your text editor, you're not going to be like, all right, I'm gonna go back to watching TV now.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
no, well, that's the hard thing is I also like pretending like I feel like what I was doing the last like 2 weeks is like having my laptop on my lap and like being like, oh, I'll just like we'll have the TV on and I'll just like do something while it's on, and like that obviously like no shit that doesn't work because I can't do that. At least maybe some people can, but like the show's on in the background and I'm pretending that like I'm actually going to do anything on my laptop, and like I don't.
It's a joke.
And it's a joke. It's just like, why am I'm like not just getting the benefit of either.
Yeah, right.
Enjoy.
That's literally just wasting time right there.
Yeah. No, and I find myself doing that a lot too, which is just like lying to myself that like fake productivity essentially of like, I don't know, even like listening to a podcast while playing a video game or like being like half on work, like not really taking vacation, but like still, but being off like I was like over winter break, like just not actually like doing what I like, just really relaxing, but being like half online, you know, like working a couple hours here and there. I feel like that's just like something I'm really bad at.
That you want to do, or you want to stop doing?
No, that I want to stop doing.
Yeah. I mean, we're all culprits of it.
That was a long tangent.
Lucas, what about you?
I don't know what we started.
New Year's, new you.
I think, I mean, we kind of are getting at the same, it's what we've been getting at, but just being more deliberate with my time.
And stop being so goddamn handsome. I don't think we could take you if you evolve into your final form, bro.
But just like being more deliberate and like focusing on making sure that I'm not just like pissing away my time, which I feel like I regularly do. But for me, there's like a lot of things that I need that they pop up like weekly that I'm like, all right, this is a good time right now, and I guess it being a new year, focus on it, like focusing on sleeping better. Like the past like 3 months, I've been sleeping like 3 hours or 4 hours a night.
Why?
I just don't sleep. I don't know. I mean, I can't figure it out. I just like can't sleep. And like I can maybe sleep for like 30 minutes straight, and then I wake up. So like like figure out how to be healthier sleeping, and like I think like stop. I want to change my efforts and like from group therapy to like individual therapy. That's a big one for me.
Mhm.
I like stopped gaining value out of my group therapy a long time ago, but I like kind of, as you said, like just continue to go through the motions. But just doing the whole deliberate with my time is like, I feel like right now I feel stuck to certain things. And as I was saying, like you have five things a week that you're able to do like outside of the weekends. And like group therapy is something I'm stuck to, and I'm stuck to like a couple other things that I feel like all of a sudden like my week is already like accounted for, and like I have no wiggle room or ability to like change my habits. And like that's obviously not fully true. Like there's a lot of like inherent laziness to it, but I think I just need to be better at owning my time rather than just like kind of letting it go by.
We'll start a list, an hour list.
Yeah, exactly.
Shane, I'm telling you, you got 2 users if you make this little fucking thing a thing, bro. This little tiny app. I don't know how hard it could be, but tell you what, I'll be something helpful, I think.
Sick. Be my first paying user.
Get the fuck
No,
out of here.
No, not setting up. That was the other part of the goal, is to not set up payments so that I don't like turn it into work.
Well, that's I think
Because-
really good, and I guess it's Joey who you said it to Shane or something is what I'm figuring out, but like not turning things into work. And when I say, I think you and I are using a different term of work, Shane. Like I just turn any habit, like anything that's healthy for me becomes work. Like going to the gym becomes work, meditating becomes work, sleeping well becomes work, like eating healthy becomes work. And like I need to just stop doing that and just like more treating it like a habit, and like treating it like, when I get out of bed, I look at my phone. The same thing as when I get out of bed, I should just go to the gym and eat a healthy breakfast. Versus
Yeah,
like,
well, also, yeah, and doing the more enjoyable version of, like, you don't have to do the hardest, most effective version of whatever you're doing.
but like just not treating all this stuff like work when I know it makes me feel better. But in my head, it's like, why would I want to put myself through more work? Is like where I keep getting stuck mentally.
Yeah. Dude, even if you wanted to, like, if you're like, instead of waking up and like going to the gym, like even if you just like woke up and like walked down your hallway
Dude,
once, you know what I mean? For like a week.
Anything. Yeah.
Like a push up, bro. You know what I mean? Just like
Yeah.
something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you're not gonna you do one push up, you're like, oh yeah, I'm good. I hit like no, you're not. I ain't no fucking bitch. You know what I mean? I'm at least bust out 10 real quick. You know, at the bare minimum, if you're gonna do one push up, you're gonna do 10. You know,
that's so true.
At the absolute bare minimum. But yeah. Oh fuck! I had something too. I lost it. I was trying to keep it. Maybe it wasn't that good then. What was I looking at? What was I doing? I remember. Yeah. So this is completely unrelated to like what you were talking about, Lucas. So I hope we're done. But I had an idea and I want to hear your thoughts on it. I'm gonna do it anyways. But I was like, for like the next Q video, I already have the idea. I got the research done and everything. That's actually fucking hilarious, dude. I just haven't recorded it yet, but I've been having a good time with it. So I'll let you guys wait and fucking watch it. But I thought it might be a good idea to have like a little like banner on like the bottom or the top or like somewhere in like either the beginning and the end of the video or throughout like the entirety of the video, as long as it's not like super obtrusive, of like recent subscriber. You know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like that is a thing. If it's not you guys, obviously, like I think there's like 1 or 2 people that like I don't know personally. And it's like, you see that video, that thing up there, like number one, you're going to watch the video. You know what I mean? I feel like people are just, if my name was on somebody's video, I'm going to go to it. You know what I mean?
So how would you see it on the video before you watch the video?
It'd be like the next video. You know what I mean? But like it'd be more for like new subscribers. You know what I mean? But if you watch the video and it said like, oh, like this week's new subscribers, like Shane Rostad and like whoever else, you know what I mean? then you subbed. You subbed because you want your name on the video next week. You know what I mean? So like,
yeah.
even if it's just like a vanity thing like that, then you unsubscribe. I feel like I would do something like that. You know what I mean? Like I would
Yeah,
easily.
just
I sent a thing to like Noah Kagan once, like on his podcast. He's like, "Hey, like send me like your name and like a funny question," and like I'll put it on. I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'll fucking do this." Are you kidding me?
yeah.
Right. It was like I asked him, would he rather his fucking nipples the size of his dick or his dick the size of his nipples? And he aired it on his podcast, bro. I was dying. But yeah, I mean, and like you bet your ass I listened to that whole fucking podcast though. Like I fucked with him, obviously, but it was just like, even if I didn't, I was gonna listen to it just to hear my own name. So I think it'd be like a real good idea to like get people to like watch, to subscribe, like in the beginning, you know.
I like that.
Like,
No, that's good.
I mean, what the hell? You know, what do I got to lose, honestly?
It's also like the whole Twitch thing. They do that on Twitch.
Yeah, exactly, dude. But that shit like comes and goes so fast. But the same exact thing, dude. Same exact thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but this is YouTube. Like someone's name will forever live on that video.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, it will. It's like
Oh,
when you
yeah.
get into it. So I think it's like something I'm gonna start doing. You know what I
that's
mean?
cool. I
Like
like
Yeah,
it.
you should.
it's hard when you're like a, you know what I mean, like huge creators get like tens of thousands of fucking new subs a day. You know what I mean? You'd have to add like an
Yeah.
extra, 3 minutes on the back end of your video with like,
Just to
100
run
names
through all
per
them.
video just to fly by it. But like when I'm like small, you know what I mean? Like I'll have that shit circling the whole entire video, the entire video. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
you know?
dude, I feel like anything you can do to be like more, I don't know, to like engage more with whoever like subscribes is like obviously good, like a good thing
Yeah.
to do.
Cool. Sweet.
So yeah, I don't know what, like one thing I feel like, so a like health related goal, something that like is like the primary thing that I put down here, which I've already kind of like violated, so I'm already kind of in the negative here.
Mhm.
But I said that I wanted to drink less than 1 day per week on average, like less than or equal to, which is like on average over the course of the year, which is like drink on a Friday night and then like not drink, and not like wheat drinks, just like alcohol. Like this is drink alcohol, so not drink anything else. But yeah, that's one of the things. Like I don't know, I don't want to like not drink, but I feel like it's like the one thing that makes me like when I'm hungover, especially on like a weekday and I have to work and I'm like, me and Emily will just casually drink like a bottle of wine and I wake up the next day and I feel like shit and I don't want to work and I'm feel like late, like I just have to, like I have shit that I have to get done. It makes me feel like absolute shit and I like hate my life, and it's the one thing that like really fucks up my mental health the most.
Being hungover.
So being hungover, it's not drinking, it's being hungover. And I get hungover because I like after not drinking a lot, after like drinking a couple beers, I'll wake up the next day, or like I won't sleep as well. I'll wake up the next day feeling tired.
Well, I
And I'm
just
like-
feel like the excuse of being hungover is like a very strong one. And
Yeah.
like, I mean, like, granted, like nobody feels good after they drink, but like nobody's like incapacitated. It's such an easy. It's like, dude, I feel like shit. We drank so much last night. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna sit on the couch for 7 hours. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like it's so easy doing it that way.
Dude, and then even like I mentioned before, now like even on the weekends, like I'm like, oh, if I want to go, like I can fucking go skiing whenever. Like we have season passes, like I could just hop in the car and go. But if I fucking get hammered on a Friday night, or even if I just drink, I'm gonna wake up the next morning and be like, I really don't feel like driving an hour and a half to get there right now, and I'm pretty hungover. And I'm like, okay, like was it worth it to just like casually put back like 4 or 5 drinks just to like wake up the night, like just hanging out? Like it didn't, like I don't know, most of the time, and this is like for me because also like we don't have a lot of like friends here, we don't have any friends really in the Portland area, but so it's like it's different I guess for me because most of it's like just like me and Emily, or maybe like we're like I don't know, mostly just me and Emily. So I'm like, did the 5 drinks really like improve the experience of us hanging out doing whatever we did last night, or was it just like we just drank because we were hanging out. Like we were sitting and watching a movie, and I ended up like we killed like a bottle and a half of wine. And I'm like, was it really worth it to feel like shit all day today because we were watching a movie? Like it didn't add to the experience. I didn't enjoy it anymore. So like I found like that's most of my experiences lately. So I'm like I can't like I'm not very good at trying to like limit myself. Like I'm not gonna have just like one glass of wine. Like I don't know. I just feel like I'm not gonna do that, or like one beer. And then as I
crack
get
it
past
open,
that,
if you're gonna.
yeah, well, like why do the damage if I'm not even gonna literally feel a thing? Like sure, maybe the taste, but like come on. At the end of the day, it's not like I don't know, like, but I'm like, so I feel like it's just easier to be like, hey, if I do it like one night a week, I could fucking do not like a number of drinks, because I feel like number of drinks is like, I don't know, what am I gonna like try and like hold myself under a certain amount of drinks? Like if I want to get hammered one night, like I'm gonna go and get hammered. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But, like, that's one of the things that I realized, like the I don't know, just makes me fucking miserable. But I don't want to like, I don't know, it's something where I'm like, I don't want to stop because it's also fun. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to just like not. That seems miserable as well. So I don't know. I don't know if that like.
So you're limiting yourself to 52 drinking days a year.
That's the idea. I already like, and so all right. So part of it is like I'm kind of like giving myself. I'm not gonna be so hard ass to it. Like it's kind of a goal. It's like something I'm striving for. But like if I want to have, I don't know, like a beer or a drink at dinner or something like that, and I already had like
You just said
something
you
the night
can't
before.
have one. You know.
Okay, well, what I'm saying is, if I'm like the other day, me and Emily went ice skating, and they had this like hot bourbon apple cider thing, and I'm like, that sounds fucking delicious right now. Like, I'm gonna have one, and like, I don't like this is like, and that was one where I'm not gonna drink.
Was it good?
If we stayed there, it actually was really good. But
hot drinks weirded me out.
Yeah, it was, but we were outside and it was freezing cold. So, but regardless, I was like, I'm not going to not drink this, knowing because we were going to meet up with Lucas that weekend. This was like a few days ago. And I was like, Emily was like, oh, is this your like one drink for the week? And I'm like, no, I'm not going to not fucking drink when hang out with Lucas and James because I want to have, but like, I'm not going to not let myself have this, like this drink because like I want it. So I don't know. It's just like more like a ideal to strive for. I don't know. And we'll see how it goes essentially.
I feel like honestly, that's like the worst way to like do, you know what I mean? Like you're like, yeah,
to not commit. Yeah.
So 52, 60, 70, you know what I mean? Like that's
yeah.
That's
well, I mean, at the end of the day,
it could be 365, you know?
No, at the end of the day, what it really comes down to is not drinking on weekdays, which would be like, that would be instead of less than one, that would be less than two. And I'm like, okay, I also don't want to drink every single week. Like, I don't want to drink Friday and Saturday every week. So I'm like, that's where the goal kind of comes in to be like even less than that.
Yeah.
But like the real ideal is like, you know, obviously it's just to not drink a lot. And I feel like it's already like I feel less motivated to.
Well, you have those other drinks too, though, which like are kind of like a cop out, bro.
Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, at the same time,
it's kind of fucking horseshit.
No, I mean, dude, at the same time, it's like, okay, I didn't say that I'm not gonna smoke weed or anything. Like I didn't like it's not that I don't enjoy being intoxicated at all. Like it's not that I don't enjoy feeling any sort of, you know, like
after a day of getting high, you don't feel like shit the same way after a day of drinking.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like at me and Emily, like we were hanging out, and I was drinking these, and I had like 3 or 4 of them, and like just like ended up going to bed. Emily was drinking wine and drank like 3/4 of a bottle of wine. The next day, she woke up and she was like, "I feel like absolute shit," and I was like, "I feel fucking great. Like I feel fine." So for me, like it best of both worlds essentially. But so I'm like, it's not that I want to not like my problem is with being hungover, essentially, I should say. So really it should be like, I want to be hungover less than 1 day a week. Is essentially
your tolerance, bro. It's as easy as that.
Yeah, well,
you know what's crazy? How long do you think we have been recording these calls or like doing these calls? Like, do you think almost a year? When do you think we started actually?
It's been like March. No, way longer. April, May.
No, books, beer, and banter. You guys did other things before me.
Well, we were doing that in
I'm talking
January.
about books, beer, and banter.
Me and Joey were doing that in January or February, and we only did a couple months of that, if that.
7 months we've been doing Triple B.
Yeah,
Well,
that
like
makes sense.
on and off. Let me see. Yeah, June 3rd was the first recording of it. That means since June 3rd till today, I haven't done a Wednesday not drinking.
There you go.
Same. Today is my first Wednesday not drinking.
Are you kidding? I haven't not drank a single Wednesday since June 3rd, 2020.
See, dude, yeah.
You fucking assholes. You did this to me. Guess how many Wednesdays I drank on before that? Zero. Zero. Let me tell you that right now. Oh, you guys are sick.
Sorry.
Accountability. Accountability to what?
Accountability to
The
drinking
vices
every
of life.
Wednesday. Yeah. Essentially,
Sons of
that's what it is.
bitches.
Oh yeah.
Oh look, now it's a
Hilarious.
little darker out. Oh no, you can't. It doesn't look any better. I lied. I gotta shut the light
Well,
off.
your light is shining right at it.
Yo, shut the fuck up. All right. Wrap it up, Shane.
Cool. Well, I mean, I guess part of this is trying to think about what I don't know. Is there anything you're, any of us actually want to do in the coming week by the time we meet next time, so we could hold each other to something?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I feel like I don't even need to say go to the gym because I don't see myself breaking that anytime soon. Especially because I got the 2 kids going too.
That's good.
But I don't know. I just gotta figure out how to I definitely want to have at least one video published on the Q and on Instagram. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna repurpose both of them. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But I don't think 3 a week is as of now doable anymore. You know what I mean? I realized how much extra time I had when I was with Matt than I do now, you know?
Yeah.
So it's even if I could just do one for a week or two until I get my bearings on shit, I think I'll be happy with that.
Yeah.
1 a week is still a lot. That's still a good goal. You know what I mean? To achieve that is tough. That's good.
That's true, actually. All right, 1 a week. So next Wednesday, oh, my fire went up. You guys will laugh.
I'm excited.
Sick.
Anyone else? Was I supposed to ask that? Now that I answered.
No, I mean my stuff is all it's just I need to fix my fucking.
Lucas has a whole life to fix. It's
Yeah.
more than what could be done.
Well, what is I know that because we talked about this when I was you at James, we talked about stuff like this, but what is one thing?
No, I know.
If you do literally one thing.
No, I know. I mean the main thing is just fixing my insurance so I can fucking actually start to attack things about my health. Be smarter with, my fucking face has been fucked up for 4 weeks. I need to go to a dermatologist, but I can't because my insurance is fucked.
4 weeks, more like 26 years.
But just stuff like that, and then I think that's the main one. And then actually, I would like to set foot in an Equinox since I have the membership now by next week.
Oh,
Are they
now that you have
open?
a membership?
Yeah, swing your dick around.
Exactly. So those are my two.
I mean, dude, you can't ask for a nicer place to go and work out. I'd go there just to fucking smell one of the towels.
And it's probably super safe, COVID wise.
No, they did it is super safe. But the issue is you have to work out with your mask on at all times. And,
it sucks.
That I'm not
ass.
Sucks
It's the worst. I was huffing and puffing so hard day one at the gym. I was on the treadmill run with it. The mask was literally almost punching me in the back of the throat. I was I gotta cheat. I'm sorry, Jim. I let my nose hang out. I was this is all I could do right now, you know? I was yo, I'm gonna die with this fucking mask on.
Yeah,
Are you kidding?
that was my thought. That's my thought process.
Oh, it's tough, bro. Just let your nose hang. Fuck it. You tried.
As an Equinox employee, I don't know if I can do that without getting in major trouble.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, I guess for me, I just want to start on building one of these apps that I want to actually
have a step done or take the
I don't even know for some of these for one of these we'll just actually make get something started, write code write code for one of these apps that's not this blog thing, Just like spin up the new app and like actually like start like build the first like screen essentially, at least, but actually get into it.
First screen.
So yeah, and then obviously I mean like workout and whatever like that I want to do, but anyway, I guess that's really it. All right, well, I guess next week we'll be back. Hopefully we can figure out something. I don't know, I'm not sure how this Zoom thing is ideal with like the delay and stuff, but we'll have to figure that out. But yeah, we'll be back next week to talk more about, to see if any of us actually did the things that we want to do. We're kind of starting off. I mean, I think Joey's the only one who actually has like a lengthy goal of like a lot of effort. Mine is like just actually like starting on something, and Lucas's is more just like a pain in the ass thing. I feel like maybe in the future we'll have like more to report back on essentially. But yeah, the idea is next week we'll come back and we'll talk about that stuff, talk about what's going on, shoot the shit like we've been doing. And then, yeah, probably a lot more like shooting the shit going forward. But that's it. I guess now I don't even know how to stop going live on YouTube. But yeah, that's it for this week. We'll be back next Wednesday around what time? 6:30. And yeah, we'll see you then.